Day, what day are we? 5 of our 33-day retreat. Today in the gospel we hear the great commandment, love. The one that I would like to focus here is where he says, it was not you who chose me, but I who chose you and appointed you to go bear fruit that will remain. To bear fruits that will remain. And in day 5 of our 33-day preparation to a consecration to the Eucharistic Lord, today's focus is in the famous fear of missing out, FOMO, which is a very youthful expression. Well, many of those youth now are mid-age right now, who knows, but back then it was a popular word, fear of missing out, FOMO. But let me go before that one, because there's another acronym that could have been used in day 3 and 4 when Matthew Kelly inspires us to live our lives focused towards the end, right? Towards the finish line. Live our life like we're dying. That's the reality, not in a pessimistic way, but in one that has their eyes focused on finish line, focused on heaven. So there's another acronym that he could have used, is the famous YOLO. You only live once, YOLO. Which in the modern culture, it refers to, there's really, this is it. This is the life we have. There's nothing else after this life. So just go all out, live a reckless life, a hedonistic life. There's no consequences. Just you only live once, so go at it. Of course, that's not what we mean. But the truth is, we only live once, but that there is a life after death, and that there is consequences to our actions. So you only live once, but not as a restless, hedonistic life, but really live it fully. Here, for me, in my own discernment journey, my own vocation, the famous line that I referred to in the past from the movie Braveheart: every man dies, but not every man really lives. While today in day 5, the 5th day, the acronym is FOMO, fear of missing out. And here he's calling out that to be careful not to fall in this frenzy of, just going from one thing to another, a life full of distractions, because you don't want to miss out. So you go in here, you're going over there, you're going everywhere, but in the end you're really nowhere, because you're just everywhere except what really matters. So FOMO, fear of missing out, he uses another acronym, his own, JOMU, the joy of missing out. Because in the end, it really doesn't matter what you miss out. And the reality is you will be missing out on many things in the world. But as you settle and commit to what is your vocation, what is your mission, what is most important, there will be other things you will be missing out. But there will be the joy of missing those things out, because there's the joy that comes in doing the Father's will and fulfilling your own vocation. But I go back to it, to the line. It was not you who chose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear much fruit that will remain. So while Matthew Kelly is warning us about this fear of missing out, also the fear or the mistake of not wanting to settle, because you want to keep open possibilities of anything that could come your way, and also warning us not to get too comfortable in this world. Very true. I was reflecting on my own life, and if there's a manifestation of the fear of missing out, it's more like a fear of not being fruitful enough, in my case. So it was not you who chose me, but I chose you, and I appointed you to go and bear fruits that will remain. If I have a fear, it's a fear that I am not bearing fruits that will remain. And if that's my fear, those who like to psychoanalyze me. Now you understand why I work so hard. I just never stop. I wanna live a life, and go back to that line, every man dies, but not every man really lives. I really want to live a life fully, not missing out on the distractions of the world, but not missing out in every opportunity that I can to bear fruits, and fruits that will remain. But there's a fear there, and there's an unhealthy, in my own case, and that may apply to you, because fear should not be what fuels our life, but in anything, what should fuel our lives and our actions is love, not fear. Not even fear of hell should be the one that fuels our lives. It should be our desire to love and be loved by God. But a fear of hell is your starting point, although it's an imperfect way to do so, but it's a good start. But we should move away from fears and begin to find, how do I fuel my life in love? So that is the great commandment today. This is my commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. So, yes, we're called to live lives that are lived fully. Not just to be one more person who dies, but one that truly lived. And when you look at what really defines a life that is lived fully, in the end it's love. It's not missing out. It's not going after everything, but a life that has dedicated and settled itself in a commitment to love. This is the commandment I give, the greatest commandment. Love one another as I love you. Love one another. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for a friend. So not just any butterfly kisses love, but a sacrificial love. So instead of the fear of missing out, the joy of missing out, you know what? I'm going to focus on what the Father has asked me to do. I no longer call you slave, but I call you friend. Why? Because I've told you everything that I heard from my Father. So as you discern in your own life, what is my mission? What is my purpose? Instead of trying to figure out for yourself, just ask the Lord, Lord, Heavenly Father, you created me a purpose with meaning. What did you create me for? So that then, once you have that clear understanding of your mission, then go all out, saying no to distractions, not worry about missing out in other things, because then you commit to fulfilling that mission, that purpose to which you were created, which in the end only you can fulfill. Because, you know, when you look at it in the perspective of family vocation, only you can be the husband to your wife. Only you can be the wife to your husband. Only you can be the mother to your children. Only fathers can be fathers to their children. Only children could be children to their parents. So each person, within the context in which they were born and raised, right there, there's a vocation that only you can fulfill. And in the absence of fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters, well, yeah, there's our extended brothers and sisters. But not to be caught up in the out there when the vocation is set right before you. What is your purpose? What is your vocation? What did God create you for? What have you committed your life to live? Now live it fully. And fully means live it in love, to the point of sacrificial love, laying down your life for your spouse, for your children. And yes, extend after that your neighbor, your community, but in the end, start with the main important one. So as we continue to prepare ourselves to consecrating ourselves to the Eucharist, you know, one of the promises that Matthew Kelly gives, that he articulates, is that in the manner in which we receive the Eucharist and adore the Eucharist, let it be, as I say, the chemotherapy, the Eucharistic therapy that I intake, Holy Communion, that I adore and venerate as a radiotherapy or Eucharistic therapy. That one of the promises that he articulates is that Eucharistic clarity. So receiving the Lord, adoring the Lord in the Holy Eucharist, ask for that grace. Lord, give me the clarity to know what really matters. What's my purpose? What's my vocation? What's the reason for my existence? What did you create me for? That I may have that laser-like focus. And everything else, yes, you'll miss out. Yes, things will. But if you're fulfilling that, then in that comes your joy, because then you're doing the Father's will. Whatever that focus is, fuel it with love, to the point of sacrificial love, laying down your lives for others. So as we continue our 33-day journey, let's not get caught up in the fear of missing out, or fear of not producing enough, or the fear of not being fruitful enough. And by the way, when you really go down, I would say the ultimate fear that really has us running around in this frantic rat race. If you really go deep inside, and after hearing so many confessions and giving spiritual direction and examining my own heart, if I go to the core of the core of all fears, is the fear of not being lovable. The fear of not being good enough, worthy enough of love. The fear of being unlovable. And what's the response for that? Then let's go to yesterday's meditation. As you see the Eucharistic Lord radiating in glory. And what is his glory? The glory of him knowing who he is. A beloved child of God. You are in Christ Jesus, the beloved child of God. Let the radiance help you have a clear focus, and in that love ask, Father, what do you desire of me? What's my purpose? What's my vocation? Or even more specific, Lord, what do you want me to do now, here, in this present moment? In the end, I tell people who are trying to discern so many things to do in their lives, I tell them, and for the sake of giving them a sense of freedom, say, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. The only thing you really have to do is the will of God. Ask for his will, but based on a relationship of love. What will our heavenly loving Father desire from you? Ultimately, is you loving him, and in loving him, loving those around you, especially those he's entrusted to your life, to your care, to your relationships, to the purpose of your life. Love God. And love, what's the other line that, love God and do whatever you want. I think that's St. Augustine or Thomas Aquinas, one of the great church fathers. Love and do whatever. Just focus on the love of God. And when you're loving God, let it overflow in loving others. May we be free of any fears of missing out, fear of if I settle, that I miss out on other opportunities. May we commit to the Lord, radiate in the glory of being a beloved child, and allow that love to come to full fruition.